we do have several different types of cables that we use in order to transmit and to receive audio. One of our most popular type of audio ports and audio cables that we'll see is going to be our 1/8 inch stereo type cable. This can be most often found on speakers, headphones, etc. And these are just our standard audio jack cables that we plug into our computer. Our 1/8 inch audio connector is going to be an analog connection. And these connectors can come in stereo as well as mono sound. So if we want to be able to split those signals up into a stereo type situation where we don't just have the same sound coming out of either speaker, we want to have the stereo set up where it's a bit more dynamic and we have the split sound coming out of different speakers, then we will want to make sure we use a 1/8 inch stereo jack cable and not a 1/8 inch mono jack cable. In addition to our analog 1/8 inch stereo cable, we also talked about how we can have HDMI, and HDMI can actually carry audio. So we'll want to make sure we add this one to the list. Some of our less common audio type ports and cables, one of them is our MIDI cable, which stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. Now, our musical instrument digital interface is going to be a cable and a port type that you're going to see quite often, say on external instruments that we're trying to connect into the computer. This may be on an electronic drum set, for example, that we can plug into, or we plug it into the electronic drum set and then plug it into the computer, and we can record that sound, record the data. MIDI cables can be daisy chained, so they don't have to just be one device to one port. We may be able to go from our computer to the musical instrument, and then that musical instrument may have another port that can go to another one, and we can daisy chain it along to make the most out of that port. We can get these as adapter cards for our computer. Some may have it built in, but if not, then we can always get that adapter card and plug into a slot. It's going to be a similar type port, a similar DIN type connector that looks like the previous PS2 connector that we talked about that we see on older keyboards and mice. So a connector that looks similar to this one is what we're going to use with the MIDI ports. The last type of audio connection that we're going to talk about is our Coax S PDIF. Now, our coaxial SPDIF stands for Coax Sony Philips Digital Interface. It's a standard for digital audio transfer. We have two different types of ports that we'll see with this. We may see just a standard circular type coaxial port. We may also see a more square optical port. These optical ports are actually spring-loaded. There's a cover that covers the opening for them because there can be light emitted from them if they were to stay open that could harm our eyes. And that's not something that we want to try to look into or open the slot and just stare in there. They're covered for a reason, and when you plug in the cable, it pushes the gate out of the way and allows the connection and the transfer of the data. And when you close it, it closes up and protects your eyes. The Coax Sony Philips Digital Interface is, again, it's sort of our standard for digital audio transfer.